there's a couple of ways of accessing it, and one of the ways is actually to know the URL, but another way is to actually go to the IT Studies homepage. So if you remember, we talked about that's okay, Nathan. If you remember, I told you if you guys go to my courses, you should see a whole bunch of courses. Hopefully not too many, but one of them is going to be the IT Studies Home. Okay, so this IT Studies Home is not a course; it's more like a default page for all IT students to get information that's common to everyone. So one of them is the software for students. One of them is the IT Studies external NAS external access. So if we click on this one, for example, it's got a URL here. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you copy it or you paste it. And if you remember, we talked about there being a similar URL right here. So sign in here for external access. So it's the same URL, so it doesn't matter where you access it. This is the URL. Put it on your bookmarks, because as long as we're working from off site, this is how we have to access some of the files we need, which are large. Okay, so for this subject, not so much, except for just that one virtual machine for the assignment, but everything else is pretty much based on what the virtual machine you've created. But anyway, it doesn't matter if you click on that or the other one. What it should do is it should take you to the URL. Okay, so like I mentioned last time, it's a little bit slow because it's never set up for all these people working from home accessing the site. So what you have to type in your username. The format of it is a little bit strange. It's not how you usually do it. So what you guys have to do is type in TAFE /, and what TAFE / means is that of the TAFE domain, and that's what it means, the TAFE domain, and then your username. And for you guys, your username actually is your student ID. Okay, I know your email address is firstname.surname at student.tafsa.edu.au, but for this, it's your student ID. You know that email address you have, it's actually maps back to your student ID anyway, so it's not like the student ID is not your username, it's just that it's got that other thing as an additional name. Then you just put in your password. Okay, so same password you use to log into the TAFE Learn site and pretty much everything else. So TAFE / your username, which is your student ID, then your password, and you click log on. And if you look at this, it then brings you to a web interface. And I think if you look at this, it talks about the IT Studies NAS, Microsoft, VMs, WOSF, Windows 8 EC. So Microsoft, VMs, for WOSF, and there's the virtual machine. So it's a folder that contains all the virtual machines. But if you actually download it, it'll start downloading a zip file which contains all the contents of that folder. And you'll have to extract it, obviously. And if you click yes, it's going to be a little, unfortunately. Okay, it's not too bad. You can see the speed's ticking away quite fast. There we go. It's ticking away quite fast at 1 megabits per second. But the problem is, this is probably a 10 gigabyte at the minimum. So even though it's ticking away quite well here, it can take several hours before you get it all. Okay. If your internet connection is not good, or you got a limit on your data, then that's a possible issue. Okay. If that's the case, if you've got a limit on your data or your internet is too slow and you can't just leave it overnight or anything like that, I would suggest you can drop into the IT hub. So in the campuses right now, even though we don't have official access to the campus for classes and whatnot, what you can do is you can access what's called a student hub, which is basically in the library at the city campus, and you just go in, log into one of the computers there, and you should bring your portable hard drive, and you'll be able to take it from the L drive in the place we just spoke about, and that will probably take only about 15 minutes max. Whereas, or if you're willing to wait, you can actually just download it at home and just be warned, it might be slow.